Welcome back. In this video, we'll return to our value at risk topic, but this time we're going a step further. We'll show you how to automate value at risk calculations in Excel using VBA. You'll learn how to take a value at risk vector and a correlation matrix and compute the portfolio level value at risk, all with a click of a button via VBA. By the way, this lesson is built on a previous value at risk video. We suggest you take a look at that video first if you haven't done so yet before diving back here, as this video is more about automating what we already did before in that video. See the video description below regarding that episode. Okay, let's get started. Value at risk, or VaR, estimates the potential loss in a value of a portfolio over a defined period for a given confidence level. You can compute VaR at the individual asset level using historical simulation or the variance-covariance approach or the Monte Carlo methods. But when you have a portfolio, you also need to consider how the assets interact, and that's where the correlation matrix comes in. And here's the basic formula for portfolio value at risk using the parametric method and the correlation matrix in particular, where V is the value at risk vector, meaning the individual value at risk of the assets in the vector form, and C is the correlation matrix. Note the need to get the square root because the matrix results are in quadratic form. Now let's set up our Excel workbook. We'll use our previous spreadsheet and capture the per position value at risk as V transpose, since the data is in row form. Note that by convention, a vector is written in column form, so we use vector transpose as the data is shown in row form. We'll also capture the correlation matrix. Make sure the correlation matrix is square and matches the order of the assets in the value at risk vector. We'll use VBA to pull this data, do the matrix math, and output the portfolio VaR. As usual, we will record a new macro and stop recording to create the macro in VBE. Next, we go to the VBE and edit the code. We will walk you through the code writing because we'll intentionally leave a mistake so that you will also learn how to debug or solve what's wrong with your code and correct it, which is an important tool if you're coding. Alright, if you've seen our previous videos on VBA, this should be easy already for you, but we will try to give you a few pointers here and there. Note that getting the square root of the variable VTCV does not work. So Excel flags it down as some sort of coding error. In general, you can stop the code and revise your code when this happens. Sometimes the debugging might have to be extensive, so we'll set aside a future video regarding this topic. For now, the problem with the code is that VTCV is treated as an array rather than as a simple variable. That is, Visual Basic sees VTCV as some sort of data structure, having worked on the previous operations as arrays or matrices. So the solution here is to simply identify the element inside that array or matrix. In this case, we'll just write VTCV open parenthesis 1 close parenthesis to refer to the element inside the array VTCV. And now VBA can take the square root of that variable, which is now treated as a scalar rather than as a matrix. And that's how you automate portfolio value at risk using VBA in Excel. This is a powerful technique for analysts, traders, and risk managers who want to streamline their workflow. If this helped, hit that like button and kindly subscribe to continue to support our channel. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.